Hey, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? So right now I'm on my way to Long Island, New York to the Hear the Watchman conference. It'll be going on all weekend. And if you want to know more about that, go to the alphabetmanlive.com website, click on events. Actually, if you want to know more about the Hear the Watchman event, go to hearthewatchman.com and check it out. They've got live streaming capabilities, so you can watch if you can't attend. There's a lot going on. The schedule is posted. I'm not speaking, but I will have a booth there, and I will be present for anybody that wants to come on down and have lunch or have a conversation. So also, this just in last night that I will be speaking at the Contend for the Faith event that the Wisconsin Christian News Rob Pugh is putting on in October. I believe that's up on the alphabetmanlive.com website under events. I will update it that I am speaking, and then as soon as a schedule is available, I will make it available to you all as well. So I go to check into my hotel yesterday. I had to do a radio show this morning. I thank WFYL in Norristown, Pennsylvania, for all that they do, for standing on the front lines, and for Kim Kennedy and Pastor Steve. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to always come on and to be able to tell truth. And not a lot of outlets for that anymore. So as I check into my hotel yesterday, what I didn't know is that the hotel was also connected to a casino, a nightclub, and all kinds of other things. So I'm walking by the pampering place or something. It's like a spa. And I'm watching, I stopped by the glass to look, and I actually am watching. Okay, you ready for this? I'm actually watching a woman and her husband get facials and have their eyebrows done together. And I'm standing there, I'm thinking, well, no, he's probably homosexual. You know, women have always wanted homosexuals as friends, right? And I kind of hanging out. And I couldn't get over it, but they're talking, and a child walks up to them and says something. He's like, well, just go sit down. And I'm thinking, wow, that's their child, and their little girl is watching daddy get a facial and get his eyebrows waxed. How emasculated do we have to get? Do our men have to get? Because women aren't being emasculated, they're being defeminized. They're being masculinated. So, but how feminine, you know, I'm thinking the whole time, wow, you know what? Back in the day, women would always want to hang around homosexuals. They always wanted homosexual friends. Well, because they wanted a girlfriend that wasn't actually a girl. And so now they have that in their own husbands and in their boyfriends. Because your husband, if he's going to get his eyebrows waxed with you and he's going to get a facial with you, he's not your husband. He's your wife. He's your girlfriend. And there's a problem with that. If we don't see the problem with that, then folks, we're absolutely blinded.
We are complete men and women. It's very simple. Men and women are different. In every way, we are different.
Yeah.
Men, we have different roles to play. Completely different. You're never gonna, your wife, she's not your best friend. She's your wife. She's more than your best friend. But you will never have the same relationship with your wife that you've got with Joe, the fellow welder that you work with. It's different. You're not going to have male camaraderie with your wife.
Amen.
And vice versa.
And if you do, but wait a minute, Jared. Can we cover the if you do? If you have male camaraderie with your wife, then what?
She's not your wife. She's your boy.
Amen. And I can't help but to laugh because it's so, like, it's just so backward. It's so, and it's everything that the word said that it's going to be, and that it is. It's right is wrong and wrong is right. And, I went to dinner last night with a sister in Christ that every time I'm in the area, she takes me to the Cheesecake Factory. And I watched a man and a woman. I watched the woman order for the man after telling him what he wanted. And he just went along with it. He was not the man. He didn't take the control. He didn't do anything. He's not a man. I remember
Well, just along that line, kind of analyzing the little things that you see in society. Take a look around when you're driving through the city and see how many men and women, couples, will say, are driving, and see how many times the woman is driving versus the guy driving. I've been doing that lately.
I can't believe you even said that. Because I saw it yesterday where a man was in the passenger seat and he was the one, and they pulled up at the rest stop, and I'm stretching my legs. So I'm like kind of like standing next to the bench I keep putting my foot up on the bench, stretching my legs, and I watch as they pull up. She's driving. He gets out. He tends to the baby in the back. She gets out, walks 10 feet away, smokes a cigarette, gets back in, and tells him, well, come on, hurry up, let's go. And I was like, what is wrong? What the hell is wrong with you people? I mean, I used to make fun of people when I lived in the world. I was an arrogant, raunchy person, and I used to, oh yeah, he fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch. But these people are falling out of the stupid tree and hitting every branch. How deep do we have to get into it before we know or realize that we're in above our necks, that we're buried in it? It's so out of control right now. It really is. I'm just everything that I see. I have, the hotel that I checked into, I guess because they have a casino there, they had a bellhop, and he was like, "Oh, I'll help you. I'll do this. I'll do that." No, I got it. I can do it. He said, "Well, I'll just come up with you so I can bring the cart down." I said, "Okay," and I knew he was just trying to get a couple dollars, and so on our way up, he's like, "Well, what brings you in town?" And I said, "Well, I'm passing through, go on my way to New York, and I stopped because I'm doing a radio show tonight." And he goes, "Oh, you're a radio personality?" I was like, "No." I was like, I'm a minister. I travel around. I give testimony." And he goes, "Oh, what's that?" I said, "A minister?" He goes, "No, what's that? What you do?" I said, "You mean my testimony?" He said, "Yeah." I said, my testimony, like what I've come out of and how I got saved from the world. And he was like, "Well, what was the world trying to do to you?" And I'm like, I said, look, I said, when we are born, he said, well, we're all children of God. I said, no, when we're born children of wrath. I said, and our father is the God of this world, the devil. Oh yeah, I don't believe that. I said, well, you know, I said, you don't have to believe it. It's the truth. But then I started giving him testimony, and you should have saw how quickly his stand against it changed when I started telling him about what I endured and how I was recruited into that movement and how I became, and I grabbed one of my books out of my bag and I open it up and I show him the picture. And he looks and he says, that was you? I said, yeah. And he goes, wow, that's unbelievable. And then I kept going. And his mouth was just like, his jaw was on the floor, and he's looking at me. And he completely changed. He says, and now you're who you are now because of God? I said, yes, because of Jesus. He said, well, that's what I said. I said, so you know enough to know that Jesus is God. I said, but you think that we're all born children of God? I said, that's the word tells us that we have to become children of God. And I was able to like lead him through it. And at the end, after we had this 25-minute, probably 30-minute conversation at the door of the room, I go to give him, I had like 4 ones in my pocket, and I went to hand them to him. He says, oh no, you keep that. He went from wanting to not talk about it and having the desire to want to make a couple dollars as a tip to wanting to hear all that he could because of his amazement at what the Lord can do. And he had no more desire to want that tip because he said, no, you keep that. I have never listened. I have been to a lot of casinos, a lot of hotels. I have spent my life in some hotels that had some look, bellhops, they want your money. They want your tip. They don't do all that they do because they want to be a good person and help you out. They do what they do because it's their job and because they do it for tips. Okay. This man became a totally different character, a different person, just by testimony. You know, and it takes me back to yesterday morning with Bill and Gretchen and talking to them. I've marveled all night and all morning at the radio station telling the Pastor Steve and Kim Kennedy about how the Lord led me to this McDonald's. And I've marveled at just how the Lord works. Why was I in Brookville, PA? Who knows? Well, we know now, but there was no reason for me to be in Brookville, PA. No reason for me to get a room at that hotel next to that McDonald's. No reason for me to even go into McDonald's because I don't go into McDonald's unless I'm with Coach. And I don't go into McDonald's for anything anymore except coffee. And so I went in and I got a coffee and boom, here I am. I'm in the midst of these people who need hope for their own situation with their son. They didn't even know their son was a homosexual, and now he wants to be a woman. You know, there's no such thing as a coincidence or a quinky dink, as my mom says it. But there's no such thing as it. There's God ordained that. God laid that path out. I know that. There's no doubt in my mind about that. And So I've marveled at that, and now, but then yesterday I'm getting to look, and I'm looking at people, and even here I just stopped at this rest stop, like on the New Jersey Turnpike, and I'm watching these women walk around in like bikini tops, tiny little shorts. I'm watching these men walk around in skin tight, skinny jeans. I mean, skin tight jeans like they're painted on. And they walk the same. Men and women are different. They're built different. They should walk differently. They should talk differently. They should act differently. There's the blue boy, pink girl for a reason. Just this morning, and I wish I would have sent it to you, Jared, but somebody shared with me a video of a 7-year-old drag queen. A 7-year-old drag queen that was on some show like Loose Women or something. They were on this show called Loose Women and showed the mother, and the mother looked like a drag queen. And I'm thinking, you're living whatever you didn't get to live. You're trying to live that through your son as you're pimping your son out. You're pimping your son out to the media and to Hollywood. You know what, Jared? See if you can look up. That's no, not him. There, look at how many. You look up a child drag queen and look at all these little boys that are popping up. How sick, how demented, how disgusting is that? That all of these little boys are so broken and they're so scared and they're so confused and they're so messed up in the head. Look at them all. There you go. Mother of 11-year-old drag queen says she's proud of her son. That one. That's the one, I believe. This little boy, this mother is pimping her son out. Look at her.
If I followed my instincts, I would have just carried on, but I think it was just sort of, voices, and you think, actually. I did have somebody make a comment once that I was making him gay by allowing him to do that, and I thought, oh God. And the same person said, gay people don't lead happy lives. I was like, oh my God. Wow. Yeah, so I had to, I was thinking, oh my God, if I really.
And yet your instinct was all to just let him be what he wanted to be.
Which I think is fantastic that you've done that. It's so nice.
Thank
you. You have to give us a little twirl down the front and give us that attitude.
Can you teach me to walk like that?
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to walk
that
like
is strong.
Did you do your own makeup?
Yeah.
Okay, you need to be my makeup artist.
Look at that little boy.
He is born to do that, isn't it? I mean,
Look at him. Look at these women sitting up there praising him for being broken. They're praising him for being scarred. They're praising him for being deviant, lewd, lascivious, perverted. They're praising him for being separated from God. Why? Because they're separated from God. Why? Because they don't know God. Lord have mercy. When I saw that video this morning, I was so angry. I was so angry that I wanted to find out who his mother is and write her, call her something, but it wouldn't matter because she is pimping her son out. Oh man, Lord have mercy. They were praising this little boy because he can. And they were saying, well, you need to teach me how to walk like that. Teach me how to do my makeup like that. Now, I'm going to take it to a whole nother spectrum here. What about what the church does? What does the church do? What does the church do when the church puts 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds up on a platform to bring a word? What are they doing? What?
Like, yeah, how does that? There's an element of, yeah, I mean, if the children are being raised right and they're doing something, then sure. But yeah, how does that make sense to have? Why are we being taught by children? Why is
exactly
this child worship so prevalent?
Because
like
we're
you're saying,
supposed
even
to be
in the
raising them up, right?
Right.
We're supposed to be leading the children and guiding the children, but no, and if you look at Canada, where the children's rights are above the parents' rights, that is exactly what they're doing here. That's what they're advocating for. That's what they're pushing. That's what they're promoting. They're saying, hey, guess what? It's all about the children. But wait a minute. You're gonna take your kid to the club and drop your kid off at the nightclub or the strip bar and let them go in if they can get, well, they can't get in because they're a kid, right? But we won't allow children to do what we don't want them to do, but we'll let them make all the decisions about how they dress, how they act, how they walk, how they talk, who they sleep with. What happened to raising these children with morals and values that they shouldn't even be thinking about sexual stuff?
Hey, David.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. Going back to your question about what about in the churches pushing the little kids up to the platform to give a word or something. People will say, well, Jesus was 12 when he went to the temple. Jesus' parents didn't tell him to go, didn't tell him to go in, and didn't tell him to interfere with what was going on.
Right.
By the leading of the Holy Spirit. It wasn't his parents pushing him.
Right. And Jesus was God. But I think, see, that aspect started bothering me like a year or two ago when I watched a certain church building that I was affiliated with. They actually had Kids Day where children did everything that the adults normally did, even preach. And they were like, oh, yes, he preached a good word. Oh, that boy brought the word. Oh, what a message. And what the hell is wrong with you? A child is supposed to be taught and raised up in the way. And if they're done so properly, then they won't deviate from it, from the way. But that's if they're done so properly. You know, I was talking to somebody who said to me, I said, well, you know, you got to be careful if you are going to allow your kids to go to this event or, you know, or something, because you don't want them to see. No, I am confident. They say, I'm confident that my children are not going to go astray. They have been raised by the word. The word has been everything to them. They know, you know, they've learned, they've been raised up in the way, they've been trained up. Thank you, Brother David. They've been trained up. And they were confident. That's it. And it wasn't arrogant. It wasn't prideful. It was confidence in the Lord. It was confidence in the Holy Spirit that is confidence in the word of God that says that God, when God says his word will not return to him void. I don't know many parents. I know a lot of parents. I don't know many parents who are truly that confident in the word because of their own stand, their own belief. You know, their own beliefs, their own faith is wavering. Because if you find yourself being confused on issues of homosexuality or transgenderism, which, folks, it's the same thing, and I can't say it enough. If you are a man and you lay with another man, you're guilty of the sin of homosexuality. If you are a man and you lay with a man that thinks that he shoulda, coulda, woulda, wants to be, can pay to be, or dress up as, or play the opposite sex, he is still a man, and you are still guilty of the sin of homosexuality. And if you are a man and you lay with a woman outside of wedlock, you are guilty of the sin of fornication and in some cases adultery. And it doesn't get any plainer than that, because what's that mean? That means there is no such thing as a bisexual. That is a term that the enemy has created to have these people out here running around thinking that they can have sex with anybody and everybody they want, when we are meant to become one flesh, one man, joined together with one woman. Why? Because, okay, well, the man was created, the woman was formed from man. So when that rib is returned to its rightful place, they become one flesh. That's what we were created for. We were created to glorify God in all that we do, our word, our deed, our action. If we're not representing Jesus, if we are finding ourselves at a place where we say, well, I just want to love on them, I'm not going to offend them, then you might be going to hell with them. Because if you call yourself an ally of the LGBT, you are an enemy of the God. So please know that. There's no such thing. Water and oil don't mix. Light and dark don't mix. You can't have 1 foot in the dark and 1 foot in the light. You could be 99% for God, but that means what? That you're 100% against him. It's all in or nothing. If you're not ready and prepared to give God your all, if you're not ready and prepared, if you want to, and you know what, I may be speaking to somebody right now, because if you want to continue to have these endless conversations, always attempting to defend your thoughts and feelings, know this, that the reason I don't engage in these endless conversations, the reason it seems that it is one-sided, because, you know, and you may get a little angry because I'm not responding. Well, some things don't initiate a response. Some things don't get a response. Some things aren't worthy of a response. You see, my point isn't to argue with you or debate with you that homosexuality is wrong. My only goal is to introduce you to Jesus, because he's going to convict you that homosexuality is wrong. But foolish and unlearned questions avoid, knowing that they do gender strifes. 2 Timothy 2:23. No, 2:23, yeah. Folks, what we need is to be focused on Jesus. What we need is to be doing the Father's will. We need to be doing the will of the Father, and that should be what we're praying for, right, Larry? We should be praying that, Lord, your will be done, not ours, but your will. See, I'm not going to argue with you. I might want to argue with you, but that's not the Father's will, and I'm not going to do that. So it's going to be all about what he desires. And that's all I'm supposed to be desiring. So, hey, folks, look, we are out of time. And I can't wait till tomorrow morning. Hopefully, I'm going to have somebody from the Hear the Watchman conference to get on the show and be a guest. And I don't know who it is, so it's going to be a surprise, because it's going to be a surprise to me, too. So God bless you all. I love you. Have a blessed day. Thanks for joining me, and peace.